It is a busy day, one here at the RNC, where Donald Trump is now officially the Republican nominee for president.
There's a lot that we're covering for you. On your side, NBC6's Lorena Inclán, again, live in Milwaukee. Lorena, the weekend's attempted assassination, of course, very much hanging over the entire event.
It is certainly top of mind for everyone here for a convention that even before that attempted assassination was already shaping up to be a historic RNC. I spoke with a woman who was sitting behind Trump at the rally on Saturday. She wasn't supposed to be here in Milwaukee, but she says that she felt compelled to make the trip after what she had witnessed.
Renee White stood out in her Tiffany blue Make America Great Again hat Monday, walking around in downtown Milwaukee.
I love Trump.
It's the same outfit she was wearing on Saturday when she snagged a coveted seat on the bleachers behind former President Trump after driving more than 10 hours from North Carolina to Pennsylvania to see him.
Take a look at what happened.
You can see Renee's reaction as those shots rang out. Trump grabbing his ear and ducking.
I think I was in shock, and just very tired. So I was just like, what the heck just happened,
She hasn't been home in days, but after the harrowing experience, she tells me she just had to be in Milwaukee for the RNC. Monday kicked off with fanfare inside the Fiserv Forum, while outside, protesters gathered in opposition to Trump's candidacy.
Your thoughts on President Biden and other leaders calling for a cool down of temperatures? What do you think needs to happen?
I think that makes sense, but after Trump was shot, the first thing he did was throw his fist up in the air and say fight. And so to me, somebody needs to stand up to that guy too.
A heavy law enforcement presence can be seen and felt throughout downtown Milwaukee as hundreds of uniformed officers patrolled the area around the convention on foot, bike, horse, and by air. While some moments were tense, the protests remained peaceful as people marched for about 2 hours holding signs and chanting. Renee tells me she hasn't slept much in the last few days, but for her, being here was just that important.
What do you think the country needs right now?
Unity. And I'm hoping like this shot that was heard around the world, like when John F. Kennedy was shot, like when 9/11 happened. I'm hoping that'll bring that unity.
You could hear the raspiness in her voice there. She tells me that she had to stop at a truck stop to shower. She didn't bring much clothes. She really has no plan. She's hoping to get inside the convention at some point this week. We'll see if she'll be able to do that. But so far, day 1 of 4 this week, and we'll be here covering every angle. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Lorena Inclán, NBC6 News.
NBC6's Lorena Inclán is live from Milwaukee. And Lorena, what has the mood been like on this day 2?
Well, Jackie, certainly a lot of people energized and optimistic, and it's a little livelier here. We're right outside of the delegation hotel for the Florida delegation. A lot better weather. You can see a lot of people out and about, all the merch tables out here as people are coming up and buying their Trump merchandise. But also we're very relieved to see the former president take the stage Monday night in an unscheduled appearance. And today's Florida's most prominent leaders will also be taking the stage with their own message.
Outside of the Florida Delegation Hotel in downtown Milwaukee, you can easily spot Dwayne Schweigel riding his Segway, dressed as Uncle Sam. He made the trip from Ocala and made sure to add an extra detail to his outfit.
And of course we all know what this is. This represents it represents our leader taking a bullet for us, or at least be willing to, and almost took it.
The RNC bringing out the most ardent supporters of former President Trump, whose son Eric Trump spoke before the Florida delegation's breakfast this morning.
His message was one of optimism.
State Representative and Chairman of the Miami-Dade GOP, Alex Rizzo, tells me the party is feeling good about the future.
It looks great. The future looks great. We are cautiously optimistic, obviously, but you look at the numbers, and the numbers are just amazing.
This is the most unified I've seen a party ahead of a convention.
Evan Power, who chairs the Republican Party of Florida, believes Florida is the path forward for the conservative movement.
What we have to do is send a message to the rest of the country that Florida is no longer a battleground state, but we're a red state.
It's been 3 days since the attempted assassination on former President Trump, but it's still top of mind The word fight, mouthed by President Trump that day, has become a rallying cry.
In that moment, what I believe the impact it has had, it has shown us the real bravery that President Trump has, his commitment to other people, and his vision for the fact that we've got to have a safer country.
And the Florida leaders that will be taking center stage tonight starts off with Senator Rick Scott, followed by Governor Ron DeSantis, and it ends with Senator Marco Rubio taking that prime time slot on the convention floor. Reporting live from Milwaukee, Lorena Inclán, NBC6 News.
And tonight, the focus shifts.
Yes, Republican vice presidential nominee Senator J.D. Vance's big night as he takes center stage at the RNC.
It is the highly anticipated speech from the junior senator, expected to highlight his powerful life story, which inspired him to write a best-selling memoir. NBC6's Lorena Inclán is live from Milwaukee with the details surrounding tonight's program. Lorena.
Well, right now, Jackie and Jawan, you can really feel the excitement in the air. Aside from it being a really good weather day here today, there's a lot of people out and about. We're right by one of the gates here. Down this gate is where you can get to the actual Fiserv Forum. But as you can see around me, a lot of people walking around. There's merch tables here and many people getting ready for tonight's speeches. The theme for this third day of the RNC is Make America Strong once again. So we're expected to hear a lot about foreign policy, which is a topic that Senator Vance has been very vocal about, being a fierce critic about foreign interventions. Now, Senator Vance made his first public comments since being announced as Donald Trump's running mate, speaking at a fundraiser here in Milwaukee ahead of his acceptance speech later tonight. In his remarks, Vance praised former President Trump for his response to the assassination attempt and attacked President Biden as out of touch. We spoke to South Florida delegates about the choice to add Senator Vance to the ticket. Many see him as the heir apparent to the MAGA movement. Take a listen.
I think that he is a young leader, and I think that President Trump was very thoughtful in his choice because he's looking ahead. He knows what he's going to do for our great country, but he's also looking at another younger person that can hopefully in the future continue not only his legacy, but his vision for America.
He's a millennial, first millennial ever to run for something like this. He's also the first veteran to fight the war on terror to actually run for something like this. So overall, the mood is, I would say, energized, extremely optimistic, and we look forward to great speeches from both of our nominees.
Now, also speaking tonight is Trump's former advisor, Peter Navarro, who was just released from federal prison after serving a 4-month sentence in Florida. He was convicted of criminal contempt of Congress for refusing to cooperate with the investigation into the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Now, Navarro is expected to speak tonight at 7:30 Eastern, and then a short time later, Senator Vance's speech is scheduled for 10:30 Eastern. Reporting live in Milwaukee, Lorena Inclán, NBC6 News.
Lorena Inclán is in Milwaukee with more on how the speech was received.
Senator J.D. Vance was introduced by his wife, Usha, who was met by cheers and applause from the audience. And so was her husband, especially when he was speaking about the grandmother who raised him and his mother who was in the convention hall. All the while, former President Trump was watching, listening, and smiling.
Tonight was Senator J.D. Vance's night, delivering a long-awaited speech.
Tonight is a night of hope, a celebration of what America once was, and with God's grace, what it will soon be again.
The 39-year-old junior senator from Ohio highlighted his powerful life story, which inspired him to write a best-selling memoir called Hillbilly Elegy.
A leader who rejects Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Green New scam and fights to bring back our great American factories. We need President Donald J. Trump.
Florida State Representative Daniel Perez of Miami-Dade believes Vance's life story is one many voters, Hispanics in particular, could identify with.
He wasn't given the opportunities. He wasn't born with a silver spoon. He had to work for it. He had a series of challenges to get to where he's at today. It's the same story for many families in South Florida, mine included.
One of the most powerful moments of the night came when some of the families of the Marines who were killed in Afghanistan in 2021 stood together on stage.
Our son, Corporal Hunter Lopez, whose name Joe Biden has refused to say out loud, was killed on August 26, 2021. He died during Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Another notable speaker was Peter Navarro, who was met by welcome home chants from the crowd after being released from federal prison in Miami just hours before.
On Election Day, America will hold these lawfare jackals accountable. Now here's the sweetest thing that's going to come off my lips. Vote Trump Vance. 24 for Trump 47. I'm Peter Navarro. I went to prison so you won't have to.
Florida representatives tell me there's a sense of unity and optimism for this RNC. It's a message they hope to hear from Trump himself when he takes the stage on Thursday.
Right now, the main message is a message of unity. Bring America together, bring America to be focused, bring America to be one, and to put America first.
As we wrap up day 3 and look ahead to the final day of the convention, tomorrow's theme will be Make America Great Once Again, which will culminate with remarks from former President Trump. Reporting in Milwaukee, Lorena Inclán, NBC6 News.
Fourth and final day, and we're just hours away from former President Donald Trump formally accepting his party's nomination. The 45th president will also deliver his keynote speech tonight, just 5 days after the assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. NBC6's Lorena Inclán is live in Milwaukee. And Lorena, what can we expect to hear from Mr. Trump tonight?
Well, tonight we're told by his supporters that they are expecting a unifying speech. But I really want to show you right now, Trina, because just within the last hour or so, a group of protesters gathered outside of the Florida Delegation Hotel at the Hyatt, and they started walking this way over here. They actually have been chanting the name of Devontae Mitchell, which, according to local reports, was killed in Milwaukee several days ago. I'm told that the family of that person is here among the protesters. But I also want to show you on the other side just how much of a police presence is here, to give you a sense of how many officers are really keeping an eye on this, trying to keep the peace, allowing the protesters to exercise their First Amendment right, but also keeping an eye on things here to make sure that things don't get out of hand. This is the fourth and final day of the RNC, and we're seeing things sort of pick up a little bit when it comes to a little bit of angst. Earlier today, we also saw a tense exchange between counter-protesters and Trump supporters as well, where one person was even pushed. There was a bit of a back and forth, but it remained relatively peaceful. And now we have this very large demonstration here, similar to what we saw on Monday, which was the first day of the convention. If we turn around, I want to show you what's happening right now as well. But we're several hours before the former president takes the stage to formally accept his nomination. And this is a situation right outside of the perimeter. You can see just how many officers on bicycles are heading towards the protesters right now, just keeping a watchful eye. They are chanting. They're definitely very energized and animated, wanting to make their voices heard when it comes to that particular situation that happened here locally. But also I see them with Palestinian flags, and they have other signs and chants that they are also saying. I want to show you, though, earlier today, NBC News was able to speak with Eric Trump, and here's what he had to say about his father's speech. Take a listen.
It's going to be an amazing speech. It's a beautiful speech. It's a very inspirational speech. It's a very America First speech, right? I mean, he wants to be the guy that wins for everything in this country, right? He wants to win on education. He wants to win on our economy. He wants to win, on inflation. I mean, everything's broken in this economy right now, and in this country right now. There's wars breaking out all over the world. He wants to go back to a powerful America.
Now, today we do know that the former president is going to take the stage at 10 p.m. Eastern. Before that, though, there will be a few other notable speakers, including Hulk Hogan, the American wrestler, and Dana White, the CEO of Ultimate Fighting Championship, will also be speaking tonight. But we're going to continue watching this. We're going to head down over there to keep an eye on things here on this demonstration, and we'll let you know if anything happens. But for now, the good news is that things have remained peaceful. Back to you in the studio.
Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Trina Robinson.
And I'm Juwan Strader. Good evening to you. Lorena Inclán is live from Milwaukee with the latest. Lorena.
Well, a lot of the delegates on the floor tonight were so excited to see the former president take the stage, and the former president giving a speech that at times talking about unifying the country, saying that we need to come together and not demonize dissent. And then at other times, it did sound very much like one of the speeches that he gives at one of his rallies. He did recount that moment where he almost lost his life at that rally last weekend, and he paid tribute to the person who did die during that rally. Take a look.
Former President Donald J. Trump walking out to a thunderous applause.
Tonight, with faith and devotion, I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States.
It was his first public address since the attempt on his life during a rally in Pennsylvania last weekend. He spoke to the crowd standing next to a firefighter uniform bearing the name of the man who lost his life.
As you already know, the assassin's bullet came within a quarter of an inch of taking my life. So many people have asked me, what happened? Tell us what happened, please. And therefore, I will tell you exactly what happened. And you'll never hear it from me a second time because it's actually too painful to tell.
Earlier tonight, things got tense outside the Florida delegation's hotel in downtown Milwaukee when Trump supporters and counter-protesters had a heated argument. Police arriving swiftly to keep an eye on things. Then later, a demonstration formed with a group holding signs and chanting. Inside the Fiserv Forum, the crowd was entertained by celebrity speakers like Hulk Hogan.
When they took a shot at my hero, and they tried to kill the next president of the United States, enough was enough.
And Kid Rock performing before Trump was introduced by the UFC CEO Dana White. The former president taking a different tone tonight.
Wanting to be president for all of America, not half of America, because there is no victory in winning for half of America.
And he also touched on his proposals for a potential new term.
I will end the devastating inflation crisis immediately, bring down interest rates, and lower the cost of energy. We will drill, baby, drill. I will end the illegal immigration crisis by closing our border and finishing the wall, most of which I've already built.
With only 4 months before the election, the Republican Party showing a united front behind their nominee.
This all happening at the same time as President Biden was diagnosed with COVID and is isolating as calls intensify for him to step aside just weeks before the Democratic National Convention in just a few weeks now in next month in August in Chicago. For now, reporting live in Milwaukee from the Republican National Convention, Renee White, NBC6 News.